Hi guys! Today we're gonna warm up together. Let's start with the warm up. I bet super many of you go to the range, you grab a club and you start banging balls, right? So in my opinion, this is really irresponsible to start hitting balls without warming up your bones, your muscles, your joints are not in place. So, and don't worry, I know I'm also a fitness coach, but I don't want to tell you have to do like a fitness program just before you hit the first shot, but you have to give your body just to get into a certain motion. And I just want to show you what I always do before I hit balls, and also after that I'm gonna show you how I start hitting balls, what order I used to do with my clubs to finish up with the driver finally, of course. So, you know, I already do this. So you have to imagine you've been driving to the golf course and you were holding the steering wheel and your hands, and I mean, finally, the motion, the hands or the hand-wrist action you need to do with the club, you normally don't do every day or during the day. Get your hands loose and just really shake them off, curl them, curve them, whatever, and just really get your arms a little bit loosened up. So now you can turn. And you know, I explained to you the turn many times. This is the turn around your spine. Just get your body used to the turn. And then you can use your hands like as a windmill, just like this. And there you can already see where your shoulders are going and your legs are moving. And all of a sudden, you start moving your body the way it's supposed to be with the club in a second, right? And I'm sure not many golfers next to you will look at you in a weird way, because I know this is the biggest fear of all golfers, that others could think, what the heck is this person doing? So now I'm gonna grab some kind of random club. I'm gonna take my 8-iron, and I'm just gonna stretch up. Just gonna really make a long body and stretch it to sides. You know, you don't want to hold the stretches too long because you don't want to have your muscle extending. So you really just want to get in an active stretching. And if you want to do it a little bit harder, you can also change the feet and just do it in one way and really do it like this, other side as well. What is this good for? This is warming up the core on the side. Then you can use the core again and just turn around your spine again. Get back into the turn. You can't do this often enough before you hit a ball, right? But this is, of course, more for the upper body. If you have cold days, you also have cold legs, so you can shake them out, but also just take your club here and really go to the right, to the left. You don't have to go super, super low. You know, you just want to get a little bit movement in your legs sidewards. And for me, a very, very important move is to bend over. And if you do yoga, you have the cow and the cat. The cat is hanging through and the cow is going round. So this for me is for my spine, the chest area. So important because the joint's getting into place and you're getting some kind of movement. Don't underestimate how hard your spine is under pressure when you hit golf balls. And this is why I mentioned the word irresponsible, because you wouldn't be the first person just not warming up and really hurting yourself and maybe ripping muscles, whatever, but also because the spine and the joints are not in place. So back to the stretching, just like that, just do it a little bit. And as I said, take your legs with you. And that's pretty much it. You know, you can also, I mean, I know I'm very, very flexible with my arms and with my shoulders. So just try to get a little bit back, just do a little bit of a movement. And someday you might want to go back here too. If you can't manage, it doesn't matter. So, and if you feel like I'm still not warm, my hands are still not getting warm, because especially on cold days, you want to have warmer hands. Hitting balls with cold hands, and especially thin the first shots, I'm sure a lot of you know this feeling that your hands are about to fall off. So just get your temperature up of your body so the first swings are gonna be fine. So now let's go over how I'm gonna warm up with my clubs. So I always start with one of my wedges. normally I take my 55, my sandwich. I could also start with my lob wedge, but you know, this is how I used to do it, and it's never changed a winning team. So I take my sandwich, and before I hit a ball, of course, I want to do some air swings. I want to do some practice swings. And if I feel like my spine is still not really in place, I still go back and do my stretching again to that time when everything feels a little bit more in place. So now I know that, for example, Tiger has exact an amount of how many wedges he hits, how many 8-irons whatsoever. I think for everybody it's different. If you want to hit more short shots before and just a few drivers. For me, for example, I love my driver. The tighter the hole is, the more I love hitting my driver. So normally, but I'll go back to that in a second. I don't hit many drives before the round because I'm very confident and I know how to hit my driver. So for me, it's actually more to get my hands warm, to get a good timing. And then I just start hitting a few wedges. I pick a target and then I hit a few wedges. And do me a favor, because I have a few students, or I've heard it many, many times, that how you actually hit the balls on the driving range really decides how your mood's gonna be, how your mood is, how you go on the course. You think if you hit the ball well on the driving range, you're gonna have a great golf round. And I'm sure you also experienced it that, you know, once you hit it well on the range, it was a disaster on the course, vice versa. So there is no rule, right? So really just focus what you want to do. And there is a reason why it's called a warm-up. So all you have to do on the driving range is to warm up. So, you know, I'm hitting a few wedges. I'm just really trying to focus on catching the ball and getting my body into motion. So then I'm gonna swap. You know, I have days I take the uneven numbers, and days I take the even numbers. So this could be something for you where you say, okay, one day I take my 9-iron, then my 7-iron, or then or the other day I take my wedge, and then I go up to my 8-iron. It really how you want it. If you're superstitious, do it always the same way when you play it well. So now I'm gonna take my 9-iron. So I just decided for my uneven numbers, I'm gonna take my 9-iron, but now it's really time to pick a target. So don't really just hit balls. You also wanna have targets where you control a little bit what you wanna do on the course as well. Grip the club, set it up, line up a little bit. Right, and so I'm just gonna hit a few balls, like 3, 4 balls with every club. Again, remember, it's a warm-up. It's not a practice, right? You don't wanna practice now. You have to find a swing thought. You know, and that shot just was a little bit left. I might wanna control or pick the ball position a little bit more forward. You know, just get a feeling what your body is feeling like and your ball striking is feeling like that day. For example, if you hit 10 shots and you duff 10 shots, what about putting the ball a little bit backwards in your stance? You know, you don't have to suffer going through the rules. Just on that day, if you say, okay, I'm really having a hard time going forward, or on my rhythm, there's something not right, really get into that process and connect to it. That you say, okay, I'm too fast. Then you really just do a slow motion backswing and get a better feeling. Also, as I said, you know, if you hit the ball to the right, as I just did with the last shot, I might want to correct my lining up, or maybe I want to correct the ball position. So, you know, it's a process of the warming up. So now I'm on my 7-iron. Now the longer shots for me, a 7-iron is it's not a short club anymore. So grip the club, line it up, pick the ball position, take my swing thought, Also, if you do linking, like if you're linking good shots and if you hit good shots in the beginning on the range, you can also, like I always used to shake down my wristbands, you can also do that. Get yourself in a positive state of mind. Another one. You know, it was a little bit thin, but it goes where I want it to go. And I still remember it's a warm up. So now I have my 7-iron. I take my 5 rescue. And of course, there's nothing against the idea maybe to do a practice swing before getting a feeling, because, you know, especially for me, for example, a 6-iron has a total different swing thought for me than a wedge, right? So get yourself in an idea of what that club actually wants from you. So I'll pick a target. Might want to take that sign a little bit more left. Ball position, lining up, right? You know, and so on and so on. And this is my 5 rescue. The next one, I'm gonna take my 3 rescue. Just gonna hit a shot with that one. So 3 rescue. It's already like, it's something like a 5 wood. So it's a long club for me. You know, I pick my club and pick my target, set up the club face, ball position, always the same. Get my body centered. You know, and you know, sometimes there are good shots warming up. Gonna shake down my wristbands. It's gonna put me in a positive state. So then I go over, then I take my 3 wood. First of all, I wanna hit my 3 wood off the deck. Same again, wanna do maybe a little bit of a swing thought. Just get the feeling for that club. Line up, pick a target, ball position, center the body, and again, swing thought. All right, that shot was a little bit right. So maybe I want to think of my ball position a little bit better or a little bit more. Maybe on my lining up as well. It was a little bit better, still a little bit right, but I caught it okay. But you know, it's a warm-up. Don't put too much meaning on how you hit the ball. Of course, if you have, as I said, 10 shots, you duff 10 shots, you have to do something. But don't get into the mindset, well, today nothing's gonna work out well. And then you go on the course with your face hanging down. And you know, the funniest thing is mostly then you play super good. So now I'm gonna tee up the ball, and I'm sure I'm gonna have, I don't know, let's say I'm gonna play on my home course. I know I'm gonna have about 4 shots off the tee with my 3 wood. So then I already use my pre-shot routine, and I go back and I actually imagine the hole or the tee shot I'm gonna use that 3 wood. So I know there's a hole I need to hit a fade. So now I'm really trying to hit a fade. Just gonna be open a little bit with my stance, my club face towards the target. It was fading a little bit too much. Not bad, would be still on the course. But then I'm just gonna do it again, you know? I'm not gonna shake my wrist because I don't wanna remember that shot. So again, setting it up, just a slightly open position. So that was perfect. Now I'm gonna shake my hand. And I love that shot. I'm gonna remember this shot for the course. So before we go to the driver now, I wanna tell you like a little secret. If you play on a regular course, you you play many times, you know the par threes. So when I was playing tournaments, I had my yardage book. I already knew the distance to the front of the green. I had my pin position. So on, let's say, on 4 par threes, I had the distance. And I know where the wind is coming from on the range. I just look where that hole is located. So I know, okay, let's say on number 4, it's a par 3, it's 130 meters. The wind's gonna be from the front right. Most likely, I'm gonna use my 7-iron. So I'm gonna take my 7-iron, and then I'm gonna practice exactly that shot for what I'm gonna have on the course for that par 3. All right, gonna take my practice swing. I'm gonna do my full routine, what I'm gonna do on the course as well. I'm gonna take a target, pick a target, do my whole routine as I normally do it on the course. I set up the club face, ball position. I didn't like that shot, so again, I do it again. And so on and so on. I'm quickly gonna do it again because I don't wanna finish that 7-iron with a not good strike. That's better. Okay, so I don't need to hit all the shots from my course at home on the par threes, but just think about it. Number 3 is a par 3, number 5 or 6 is a par 3, and so on. And then you practice those shots. It doesn't need to take hours, but I would suggest you should plan in at least 30 to 40 minutes on the driving range if you want to do it in a quality time and in a quality state of mind. You have to take your time. There's no reason to show up on the driving range 20 minutes before tee-off time, right? So as I promised you, I'm gonna hit the driver. So, and as I already told you as well, the driver is my weapon. So I just gonna get in motion with my driver. I pick a target. It has nothing to do with the shot on the course yet, so I'm not doing my full pre-shot routine. Just gonna hit it the way I always used to hit it. And I love shaping that driver to the right, so I really like seeing it fading, and I just wanna get a feeling for my club face, holding it a little bit. My bad shot is an early hip extension and a flip of my hands. So this is the reason why I really, really enjoy fading the ball. So another one before I'm gonna continue. Pretty good. Gonna shake my wristband. Okay, so now, this would be actually enough for me because I'm trusting my driver so much. But for example, in my home course where I'm coming from, the first hole is it's a super nice, it's not long, it's a par 5, and it has a really nice tee shot. It actually asks for a little fade, and it's a perfect starting hole for me. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna practice that first shot I'm gonna do in about 20 minutes, right? Because I have a tee-off time. If you have a course where you have like a super tight hole, which is not asking for a driver off the first tee, let's say a 5-wood, 3-wood, a rescue club, whatsoever, you're supposed to take that club to practice that first shot you're gonna do very soon. Because I can see many golfers, they hit the driver at last, or maybe they actually do some pitches at last, which has nothing to do what you're gonna do in a second, right? So my suggestion for you, take that club you're gonna have on the first tee to get in the mindset. So once you're on that first tee, you just hit that shot in a good way. Of course, you just do it as long as till you hit it well. And then you can use it for your brain, for your mind, for your mindset. You have a positive mindset and you're not afraid of it, right? So this is my warm-up. And as you could tell, it takes a little bit of time. So take that time, get up 15 minutes before you normally do, get some stretching done, get into the motion, and you're super well prepared for the course. So of course, you're gonna say, now, are you not gonna putt or are you not gonna chip? Of course, I go putting. You can do putting before to hit balls or after that. Of course, you have to find a rhythm or your order you like it more. But for me, the warm-up is not a practice session. You know, I know that there are people that need to do everything before. But finally, to practice, it's a different time. It's the spare time. We are not going on the course. You're not competing. This is a warm-up for a competition or also for, you know, for a round of golf. But don't think you have to start practicing before the round. The job on the putting green is to find a good feeling, a good sense for the speed of the greens, make some short putts just to get the sound in your ear, how the ball is dropping in the hole, get a good feeling for the speed. But this is it. Don't start practicing. Don't start missing the hole, because your mind is going to remember this. Also, chipping and pitching, of course you can get you just do a few pitches. And if you watch the best players in the world, you can tell by watching them, they're just gonna loosen up their hands, they're just gonna get a feeling for the rough, they're gonna put the ball in bad positions, don't always tee it up, what most amateurs do. They always put the ball in a nice position. So really get a feeling for what is the course asking today? And this is it, you know? And then you have maybe like 15 minutes in the short game, and this is it, and then you go to the first tee. I always used to do the short game before, and then I went to the range, and then I went from the range directly to the first tee, because there I had my motion, I had my mindset, I just want to go out. But you have to find your own order, how you like it. But as I said, don't start practicing, start warming up well. And I hope I could help you a little bit with this video. And if you like it, put a thumbs up. If you have questions, or what I would be really curious about, how you used to do your warm-up, just write it below. I'm really happy for every comment, and I'm gonna answer as much as I can, of course. Follow this channel if you wanna know about me. Follow me on Instagram as well. And now I wish you all the best, good luck, play well, and have fun practicing.